So in the last video, we covered the first 6 rounds of my tournament from St. Albert's Open, September 1 to 5, 2018. After 6 rounds, after two losses in the rounds 5 and 6, I was on 3 out of 6, which is not, which is not a great position to be in. But then things change in the last 3 rounds, round 7, 8, 9. So let me take you through the rounds. All three games are really nice for various reasons. Because basically, round 7, I played a good game. Round 8, I was lucky. I'll tell you all about it. And then round 9, I again played a very good game. So let's take you through round 7 game. I was facing 1279 Nevin Jose, who was actually a student of that college itself, the college St. Albert's where the tournament was happening. Again, this was in 2018, September. I was white. I played e4. He played e5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop b5. I played the Rilopus d6, d4, pawn takes, knight takes, bishop d7. There was a threat of knight takes, right? Castles, white, black plays bishop e7. So these are all standard moves, just developing the pieces. Knight takes, pawn takes, and bishop comes back. You would think that black's position is a little cramped, but then he's going to play knight f6, he's going to play d5. It is fine. He plays knight f6. I play knight c3. He castles. And now I play f4. So this position basically looks good for white, right? I had a good feeling about this position because I'm controlling the center. I've got space on the king side also. My rook is going to be active. Queen can come out. Bishop can come to e3. All are good. So this is a little cramped position for black. But as it turns out, in this position, black has a way to like break the shackles and open up the game. And for black, the move that he should have played was d5. The point is, he's attacking my bishop. So let's say I take. He gives a check first. And then king moves and he takes back. And if I take here, then he gets knight g4. He gets a counterplay on the f2 and h2 square. Because now queen h4 is coming. And how do I stop knight f2? I'll play queen e2. And then queen h4 anyway comes attacking f2 and h2. So this is already good for black. It's a little difficult to find it because you would, if you look at that position a few moves back here, after f4, you can see that black is on the defensive. It's difficult to think out of the box here. Like you would see that your position is cramped, and it's difficult to see like play d5 and open up the position. It takes some thinking to see it, and like a mindset change to see it. So he did not do it. He played rook e8. I played king h1. Like I wanted to get the king out of the way, out of all the checks. Normally, when you play f4, you want the king out of that square. Yeah, it weakens the back rank, but you gotta give something to get something. Okay? He plays bishop f8, bringing the bishop to defending the king side. I play queen f3. Plan to play e5 at some point. Queen e7, bishop d3, defending the pawn. Rook b8, and here this was one critical moment of the game because I was considering bishop d2. Black has stopped me from playing that because he's attacking my pawn if the bishop moves. So black has kind of stopped me from playing this move. But when I looked at my pieces, all of them are good, right? My bishop can come to d2, it will be good, and then rook can come to e1. All my pieces will be in good squares. So I wanted to play bishop d2 actually and give up this pawn. This was something I wanted. I remember thinking about it quite a bit because I am giving up a pawn. And if it turns out to not work out, then in the endgame, I'll be a pawn down. So it's not an easy decision. But I wanted to play this move because it felt right. Like it was in compliance with everything I've learned so far. All pieces are good. So it got to be playable, right? So I went for it. And then I play rook e1. All my pieces are on good squares. There is no immediate compensation. You can't say that like pieces are active and I have some active like threats coming and all those things. I don't have much, but my pieces are all on centralized. They're all centralized on good squares. So giving up this pawn felt okay and right at the moment. And it actually is. When I analyze it later, I realize it's fine. Position is equal. Even if I didn't give the pawn, it was still equal, maybe slightly better, but this is fine. Now he plays knight g4. I play queen g3, planning to play h3 at some point. Queen f6. Now he is slightly wriggling out of the situation. I play h3, queen h6. Now, if you remember game 3 against Anubhav, game 6 against Anubhav Srikumar, she had played a move that I played in this position. Uh, I played Bishop C1. So I wanted to play F5, and the queen is trapped almost. Like in this position, if I cannot take the knight. That's the first thing. So queen has pinned my pawn, but I wanted to. So if I play F5, I can take this knight with the queen, right? And I'm attacking the queen. But then the bishop is hanging, and then my knight's also hanging. So that won't work out. So here I have bishop, sorry, not here. Before playing F5, I have bishop C1 attacking the rook. So now you see the point of not taking this pawn. Because of taking the pawn, black is now in trouble. Bishop C1, rook moves, and now F5. Black is losing a piece, right? I'm attacking the knight on G4 with the queen. I'm attacking the queen with the bishop. The bishop is now defended. That was the point of bishop C1. So I'm winning a piece. But yeah, he has got queen F6. I had to admit I did not see queen F6 when I was calculating F5 and bishop C1. I didn't see that the knight was hanging. So here I had to again like sit down and think more. And I found the winning move here, which is E5. Point is, if knight takes, then bishop G5 traps the queen. That's the main point. And if pawn takes, I get the knight, right? So rook took. Now I get the instead of taking the knight, which is fine, but then there is G6. So he will get one pawn back in some activity. So I played knight E4, attacking the queen, and then I am planning to take the knight. Queen moves, and then I take the knight with the pawn itself. So these F5 pawn is still not hanging; it's defended. Rook B1, bishop F4. Now this should not be a difficult conversion. My pieces are active. I'm up a piece. Rook A5, knight C5. A discovered attack on the queen. Now he makes a blunder because he wanted to defend the bishop. So he had to play queen d8, right? Queen d8, now knight b7. I mean, there was no other move. It's already lost for black. And knight b7 just finishes black. Queen b8, knight takes rook. I'm basically a rook and a piece up. Queen b4, knight c4. d5, knight e5, bishop back, knight f3. So now I bring my pieces back a little bit so as to, consolidate and make sure nothing bad happens. Like centralize them a little bit, bishop d2. Basically regrouping the pieces before going for the final attack. Queen take. Now I go for the attack because my pieces are around the king. They're defending each other. Like knight's defending bishop, bishop's defending pawn, pawn's defending knight, rook is defended twice. So all good. Now I go for the attack. H6 and I get the piece. Queen d6, rook e8. And now I'm threatening queen a8 to queen c8. The bishop falls. Bishop b4 is a threat. So here he resigned. So this was a good game. Round 7 was a good game. It gave me some confidence. But still, 4 out of 7 is not a great score. So there were still 2 more rounds. Now comes a very important moment in my tournament. The second most important game of the tournament because it's 8th round. 9th round is the last one. Okay. So here something sad happens. He played d4. I used to play f5 at that time. Still I do. And here he plays e4. It's a gambit. So it was new to me at that time. I had no clue what's the point of this. I just played knight c3. I played knight f6. And then bishop g5, attacking my knight. So knight takes pawn, knight bishop takes, pawn takes, and knight takes is a threat. I just defended it, right? It seemed okay. But d5 is actually a bad move. Because he just plays bishop takes, pawn takes, and queen h5. It's a check. He's getting back this pawn, and then this pawn will also go. So if I, like, for example, play g6, which I did, he takes, and if I take, then knight takes, and c7 is hanging, f6 is hanging. Like for example, here if I play this, then both my pawns are hanging, and this position is lost, right? And remember, this is the 8th round. I have just won the 7th round. I'm hoping to do well in this round so that I have a chance in the last round to, play well for a prize. So this happened. I played knight d7. So this was, I remember this. I was feeling so bad here. I felt down in this position. Like in this game, it was an important game, and I've ended up in opening trouble itself. Like out of opening, after like 7-8 moves, I'm lost. the position is lost. I'm basically uh, down a pawn because now whatever I play, one pawn is going to fall, and it will be an endgame if I take. So, so this was a big moment for me because you don't want to lose, right? And that too in the last or second last round of a tournament. So basically, when I see a lot of students lose games and then feeling really bad. So I understand that feeling. I know that because as chess players we've lost a lot of games. This was a moment where I felt really down because my king is in the middle. G6 F6 is done, pawn down. So basically, what I have to say is, uh, failure is just part of the game. You have to like keep fighting. So here I took some time to find out the best way to continue. I cannot exchange queens. That endgame was lost. I'm a pawn down, and his pieces will be active. So I play knight d7, giving up that pawn with a check. Then I play king f7, allowing bishop c4. I play king g7, and then he castles long. At least I get a playable position. I'm a pawn down, but there are still pieces on the board. Queen is still on the board. Queens are still on the board. My king is a little bit safe on this side. Nothing to be proud about, but this at least offers a fight. And fight we must, even in a lost or losing position. Now, what happens from here is a little bit magical because I had no hope of winning this. My opponent is rated 1399, which is a good rating. I was 1499 at the time. So there is no way a player of that rating or caliber, being a pawn up with my king in the open, will not mess it up usually, right? But again, in chess, there are a lot of factors that can come in. You cannot like define that this is going to happen, that's going to happen. So what happens next is really unbelievable. I play knight b6, attacking the bishop. Bishop goes back. I play bishop d6, just taking the piece out. He plays h4. So he is planning to play h5, and it looks scary. H5, pawn takes, rook takes, and all. My king will be completely open, will have no protection, and it will be over. But then again, time on the board. Does he get h5? That's the next thing. So here I play rook e8. I am attacking his queen. If the queen goes here, it should be fine, but that steps in the way of the knight. So he goes to d3. Now I get my bishop in the game. So things are starting to look bright, little bit brighter than before. It's like the pieces are coming alive a little bit. It's like my pieces have just, got some life into them now. Rook came with the threat, bishop came with the threat, queen went back, all the way back. Queen f3 was better. Queen went all the way back. Now he wants to play f3 and g4. But then again, time comes in. I play a5, attacking myself. I'm threatening a4, trapping the bishop, right? Almost. Yeah. So he plays a3, making space for the bishop. Now I play c6. It looks like a quiet move, but it's actually not a quiet move because I'm threatening, like planning knight d5 and queen b6 and b5. So here he plays king b1. Usually after castling long, you want to tuck the king away in the corner. But I don't know if that was a good idea here because it's moving into a pin. But at least it steps away from bishop f4 check. So king would anyway have had to move to b1. But I got this without even playing bishop check. So that was good for me. Now I felt like I have some chance here because he has still not got h5 and I can play knight d5, I can play b4, I can play queen b6. It started to look good for me. So I start with a4, bishop goes back, and then I play knight d5, the idea that I had planned all along when I played c6. And here he just takes. Of course, after bishop takes, I'm planning bishop takes a3. It's an exchange of pawns, but then his king will be more open after that. Again, he has not got h5 yet. He played g4. Like by now, I could see the panic. Like from a winning position, when your opponent gets some chances and then he actually gets a better position, then you panic, right? So panic had already set in for my opponent. It was an important round, and he panicked and played g4, basically trying to open up stuff on the king side frantically. But the point is, I just take. He plays f3, and I go back. I basically got a pawn. He got the g file, but there's no rook on g file yet. There's no queen also on g file. Queen g2, pawn h5 will take time. And first of all, h5 I'll just push. So This is now good for me. He played h5. I played queen b6. I'm threatening bishop a3. He missed it basically. I mean, there is no defense anyway because he cannot play b4 because we just take and then bishop a3 comes either way. Like actually, bishop takes is not possible because queen b3. The pawn is pinned by the bishop. So this is already bad for him. He has no defense here after queen b6. I'm threatening bishop a3. He can move the king though, but if he moves the king, bishop c2, and the pawn anyway falls. So here he made a blunder, rook c1, and that finished the game on the spot. I just played bishop a3, and he resigned. Because how do you defend b2? You can't, right? He's losing material. Even if he plays b3, I take the same idea as before, and bishop hangs. So this was another lucky break. So I had a lucky break in third round. I got a queen. Here, I was lost out of the opening. It was an opening surprise. I got shocked out of the opening, but somehow things changed little by little. And this was like a gift. Like someone gave me this game and told me just take out your pieces one by one. He's not going to do much. Just take out the pieces and play. It was like that. So this was a huge boost for me. Now I have a chance because I'm now on 5 out of 8. Right? It was an open tournament with prices for below 1600 category also. My rating was 1499. So if I win the last round, and in the last round I was playing Rajastri, she was rated 1658 something. She was. This was till round 8 was third day. On the fourth day there was only one round, and this round I had to win to have a chance of getting a prize. She was 1685 basically. Now this is a must-win game. If I don't win, it's just a usual tournament. I don't get anything. I don't get a good prize. I can't tell myself that I played well. There were some good games, like the game against Imran in fourth round, Nevin game, and the eighth round. Nothing to be proud of. It just got better and better, and I won. So those games I'm proud of. But you gotta win the last round, to have a good feeling about the tournament and to win a prize. The first prize was 75,000. If I win, I'll be tied with some people on 6 out of 9. Before this round, there was already some people on 6, but my butch was kind of good, so there was a chance. But before all that, I have to win this game, right? And let me take you to the game. She played e4, c5. She played c5. I played e4. Sicilian defense: knight f3, g6, bishop d3, bishop g7, c3, and attack my bishop back on c2. She plays d5 and castles. I play d3. She plays knight d7. I play rook e1. She castles. I play e5. I've gained some space, but black has also got some space on the queen side. She plays f6 immediately, challenging my pawn. Pawn takes, bishop h6, rook e8, knight d2. Knight f5, attacking my bishop. It has to go back, and now e5. So this position is good for Rajastri. Black is definitely better. She's got a good sender and more space, and pieces are active. My pieces are cramped. I go back. I mean, you got a fight. So here I was no longer thinking of winning. I was just trying to like see how it goes. And knight takes, pawn takes, b5. So this looks scary. Don't tell me it is not. 4 pawns are coming at you. So I had no good feelings about this position initially. But once I looked at it, I felt some kind of a breakthrough somewhere. Like it felt like c4 had to be played. I played it. Pawn takes, d4. Now have a good look at this position, all right? You can see that white's pieces are stuck on the last 3 ranks. Black has good space. Pawns are coming towards you. If black gets this move in, then white is busted. I don't see any way out. Pawns is going to roll over white, and it's over. But see this position after like 3 or 4 moves. You'll see the difference. Now I played bishop e4. I'm attacking the knight. It's pinned. So black defends it. Okay. I made a threat. She defended. I make another threat. She again has to defend. Now I give a check. King moves. Now knight e4. Compare this to the position 4 moves back. White pieces have basically invaded the light squares on the center of the board and the corner. The queen, knight, and bishop. They just like gone into the position. They've gone into the position and stuck there. They're stuck there. And this is a great improvement. Like I was feeling good about the position. Now I knew I had to win this. I could win this. She played knight a5, trying to exchange of some pieces. But this is where I saw another nice idea. I saw this sacrifice. Knight takes, king takes, and then I saw knight takes pawn. The point is if rook takes, king takes, I have rook check or rook check, king moves, and then queen d7. So basically what I'm saying is knight takes, let's say rook takes, king takes. This position is lost for black because of this check. And if king moves, there is rook e6 first of all. I win the queen. And my queen sack to a5 is hanging, queen d7 is there. So this is winning for me. And if king goes to d6, then still rook e6 is there. So this is what I was planning. But somehow I got too excited and I played rook e5. And once I played, I realized I played the wrong piece. But luckily, it's still the same idea. It still wins. Only one small difference. Now she can play bishop takes bishop. Earlier, if I play knight takes, she cannot play bishop takes bishop because knight d7 is a fork. The difference is here she can play bishop takes. She played it. I played this. So I'm a pawn up. Now rook d8, trying to exchange pieces. Rook takes, rook takes. But now it's still not over. The attack is still not over. Black pieces is still out of play. So she brings them back. Queen c2. I'm planning queen e4. And now queen d6. She thinks it looks like everything is covered, right? She has stopped the threat of queen e7, queen e6 and all. Queen e5 also. But there was one square she could not cover. And I realized that now. Queen h4. Now king f7, I take on h7, position is lost. King g7, I still have rook e7. And that's what happened. King moved back. Of course, I cannot play queen takes. Then queen takes rook, I lose the game. Rook takes. And the king is now in trouble. Position is winning for me. So rook check. Rook moves up. Rook check. King moves. Queen check. Knight check. And here, there's a finish. Queen f8 is mate. So after this round, this was a good win. I was 1499. So winning against 1600 plus opponents is not an everyday occurrence for me. I have won many times, but it's not easy. So this was a win on demand. So this was good. Now, after this round, I was on 6 out of 9. As I said, there were many people on 6 out of 9. And it was actually funny because who is first on below 600 depends on the butch. Who has a better butch? Some games were still going on. So I calculated my butch, till now, and looked at the standings till now. And then I wanted to see the games that were still going on, like how my opponents were doing. So basically, two of us had a good butch. So it was between the two of us who were on 6 out of 9. There were many others on 6, but they had bad butch. So out of the two of us, whoever had a better butch would have won, would win. So we were not sure at that point because some games are still going on. That too, one game that decided the championship, not the championship, that decided who gets first was still going on. Like he had played against an opponent, and I hadn't played against that person. So if that person wins, his butch would have been more than me, and if he lost or drew, it would have been less than me. It was somehow like that. So basically, at the end, I still got a better butch by a small margin, and got the first in below 1600. The price was actually big. It was 75,000, and that's for like 4 days work. So it was definitely good. And it after like first 2 days, I never hoped that I would be getting a prize. And when I went for the tournament, I was never hoping it because I was playing after a long break. So this tournament gave me that confidence to win, and it helped me really because the very next month I got a great prize in Goa right after that. So 2018 ended well, and it all started with this tournament. So I hope the last three games, 7, 8, 9 rounds, were instructive, and I hope you enjoyed it.